Get in! The Reds have won, and the Reds have deservedly won against West Ham. It was graft, it was hard work, it was shit in the first half, let's be honest. But by the end, Shaqiri's pulling out that pass, and we're pulling off our kecks because the Reds have won. And I've got Stu Wright Dan Austin and Andy Heaton with me to dissect that one. And Stu, as I say, the first half was grim, wasn't it? I mean, West Ham were very Moyes all the way through this one, and it didn't make it a pretty watch. But equally, Liverpool, didn't move the ball well enough, weren't creative enough, weren't inventive enough, and were perhaps a little bit lucky to be at 1-1 at half time.
Yeah, there's a thing I think now with Liverpool where there's almost like a strategy to not exert ourselves too much too early in a game. I actually starting to think, and I didn't think this a few weeks ago, but it's starting to become too much of a pattern that maybe that's the plan for this season, that actually, we just get out of town with the 3 points, we won't do what we don't have to do. And I think there's a confidence in this Liverpool team that not many other teams could have that level of mentality and belief, but there's a confidence that's based in what they've achieved over the last couple of years in this team now, that they can see how the game pans out before committing themselves, and that they'll still have enough. I'm not saying that'll always be the case, but they're certainly confident in that. And the manager does always seem to have a really, really telling impact now at half time as well. So I think we before we went on air, we were talking about stats there, and the stats for the first half, I mean, my God, they were...
One shot.
Jesus, they're hard to read, aren't they? I mean,
Yeah.
they're eye-watering. But the second half, it was like, night and day. It was far more positive. And if you're West Ham, if you're David Moyes, and if that is the best plan that you can come up with, to literally have every man behind the ball, and even your striker isn't behind the ball, but on the halfway line. He's like 20 yards inside his own half. If that's your move, then you get what you deserve, because if you invite this Liverpool team with this quality, with that level of quality off the bench as well, to come at you and sit in your half for the entire second half, it's only a matter of time before we're going to poke holes in your plan.
Yeah, and that's what happened, isn't it, Dan? And, West Ham have been in good form, haven't they? Got some good results. Drew with City, drew with Tottenham Hotspur, beat Leicester, beat Wolves. So, you maybe thought they'd come with a little bit more confidence, but they were fairly set on fucking digging in and making it horrible, and they did just that. But, I think Stu's right to talk about mentality, because we have the goal ruled out with the VAR, and it looks a bit harsh again, and it's annoying again. You've got this defensive wall just sitting there, and that's frustrating you for a long time. But then the subs are combining, and we're getting an 84th minute winner. That says something, doesn't it, about the mentality?
Absolutely, and it's, in hindsight, looking back on it, very similar to the Sheffield United game, in that Liverpool create a problem for themselves, regardless of whatever you thought of the penalty decision and stuff, and end up going behind, and then you're playing against what is in essence a back five that's really difficult to get around, and they're happy to just head balls away all day long, and you've got to make something happen. And it's dead easy when you're doing that to just think, this is fucking graft, like we all thought when we were watching it, but it's up to the 11 people that are on the pitch for Liverpool to not think like that. And they didn't, even though for the majority of the game they were fucking crap. But it takes real skill and intelligence in order to be able to sort of go, we're playing crap here, but this will still be sound, and we'll make it sound, because you can't just rely on external factors all the time. You can't just rely on the fact that the opposition will sit in, because if you give them something, then they've got something to hold on to. And it's a massively important thing, because Manchester City were in a very similar situation to Liverpool against West Ham last week, and they went behind. It was a better goal from West Ham last week, that overhead kick, but you're still behind against a team that's playing 5-4-1, and it really is a rigid 5-4-1, and it's difficult to get space against. And they were able to get one back and no more. And Liverpool were able to play, by and large, terribly for about 70 minutes of that game today, if you added it all up, and still come away with 3 points and go, it's all right, wasn't it? And a lad that's never played a league game for us before was man of the match. And you end up coming out of it with loads of these positives from a structure of a match that felt awful the whole time you were watching it. So if you can turn something that feels terrible into a really good thing, and your rivals can't match it, then you're going to be absolutely fucking sound in the end. And that's the thing that will make Liverpool champions again, and will mean that by the end of whenever the season is, because I'm not going to say May, because Christ fucking knows when it is, but whenever it is, that's what will mean that Liverpool have got 20 league titles rather than Manchester City getting another one, is that City do that next week, and they haven't got the belief in themselves, and they haven't got the ingenuity and they haven't got the intelligence to make the second goal happen. Whereas Liverpool can look at what looks like a really good second goal that gets taken away and go, you know what, sounds, we'll just put it in the net again.